rise and fly, go!
Hello, and welcome to 24K Gaming, reviews, TV shows, and video games. We are here again on the cusp of another beautiful Last of Us episode in just about an hour. It'll be episode 6, and I am on pins and needles, but it's not what I'm here to talk today. Today is a long overdue review about... That's right, World War Z. The film didn't exactly come out of nowhere. It was stalled a little bit because I heard there was some sharing between The Walking Dead and some plot points, whatever have you. Let's start with the positive. First of all, I love a zombie movie having a star, an A-list star. It raises the level quite a few on your movie. It also shows faith. And then again, we've all seen those horrible movies with stars in them that are not good. Maybe I'll just do the best and worst of zombie movies and film and TV one day. But I digress. So the film starts off with a bunch of flashing images that show you something is going on, but not enough for you to get it. And then we're just hammered into the word war. W-A-R, World War Z. And the Z stands for zombie. Though I'm surprised this movie actually used the word. When it comes to the zombie genre, very few people will venture to use the word, and I have no idea why. Maybe they figure it's cliche. Maybe they figure it's, it sounds cheesy, but what is a dead thing running around eating other things? It's a zombie. So this movie is called World War Z. I would hope they would use the word zombie in the Z. So anyway, as the movie starts, Brad Pitt is with his family. You can see he's a retired military person, of course. And right off the bat, you get the horror trope. Now, I hate this horror trope more than anything, but every movie has it. Every movie has to have a sick child, whether it be diabetes, asthma, hypertension. Yes, that's right, hypertension. I saw one movie where a kid was having hypertension problems. He wasn't a 50-year-old person. No. Anyway, when I see the trope set up in a movie, it kind of pulls me back because I'm like, we don't need that. People have healthy kids, and I understand there are sick kids out there. People have sick kids. But for every movie that revolves around disaster, we don't need the sick kid cliche. Sorry, don't need it. And forgive me for this. I know I'm going to get kicked in the teeth for this, but there's nothing wrong with finding somebody a little less tender-eyed to be the leading actress when you have Brad Pitt. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the actress that they picked. I'm just saying they didn't match well. I didn't get a lot of chemistry from both of them. And he's had chemistry with pretty much everybody he's worked with. So take it or leave it. Anyway, as they're driving their kids to school in Philadelphia of all places, and don't get me wrong, Jersey. I love Jersey. I love Philadelphia. I love when movies include us. It's not just New York. They always skip over New York, go to Boston, go down to Virginia, West Coast. They just forget about the tri-state area. And we are part of the tri-state area. So I'm glad this movie at least mentioned Philadelphia, and I'm glad that it had a scene in New Jersey, because yes, we're in New Jersey. And I'm not talking about that Die Hard movie that says reference Camden, and I'm like, I've been to every part of Camden. That is not Camden he was filming in. Sorry. But anyway, so as they're in the car, things kick off as motorcycles and things are rolling by them in traffic, and they're in gridlock, which if they had been paying attention to the news were reiterating about rabies outbreaks all across the area. This place, that place, Asia, here, there, and yonder. But they weren't paying attention, just like most tropes. You don't pay attention. So, as Brad Pitt gets out of the car in traffic, even though they're at a standstill, to check his mirror, of course, the crap hits the fan. The shit hits the fan. And that's the factor I always talk about when the shit hits the fan. And I like the fact that the movie didn't take long to step on the gas and shoot to 100. I thank you for that. So let's start with the positive. The movie did have fast-moving zombies, which I kind of like because it's more scary. I mean, well, I would say it's scarier than the regular slow-play zombies because you can dodge and move out the way. When they are trucking at top speed and you looking over your shoulder and they just jumping on you, that's terrifying because you don't have a moment to think. Like if the zombies are walking, you know, you can move them out the way, maneuver. You have time to think. When they haul assing, coming down the street by the thousands, it's kind of hard to think because everything is just coming at you so fast. So I do like that. I like that speed. Having said that, there are certain particular parts with that kind of annoys me. Number one, as soon as they jump back in the car, Brad Pitt's like, let's get the hell out of here. And I'm with you 100%. That is a realistic reaction. And if you know me, and when it comes to movies, that is my biggest pet peeve, realistic reactions. And it is a realistic reaction to hop in a car and get out of there. Unfortunately, the daughter's having problems in the back, you know, just like every movie. And the wife, who's in the passenger seat, just like War of the Worlds, I said the same thing. The passenger is there. They can turn around and take care of the situation in the back seat. But no, of course, the driver is looking over his shoulders and, hey, put your seatbelt on it. Hey, and just that, not paying attention, bam, they get T-boned, and you knew it would. So their mode of transportation has been trashed, and of course they got abandoned. Look for another mode of transportation. And this comes to the point where Brad Pitt is able to see somebody get attacked and see exactly about how long it takes for that person to come back. So the kid has a toy, which counts in the beginning, and you just knew it was going to come in. So as the toy is counting, Brad Pitt is looking at the guy and seeing he's twitching on the ground. And about 12 seconds later, the guy is up and on to somebody else. So they stumble upon a camper. Great zombie vehicle. A lot of places have done it. A lot of movies and television have done it. I don't think there'd be too many campers just sitting, lying in wait, you know, if a zombie apocalypse happened. I don't know how to always look into them, but they always have these luxury camper RVs just there. And of course, we don't know what happened to the person. I would say the person wrecked, but the RV is in perfect condition, so it didn't wreck. So they just got out and left it for Brad Pitt. That's just what we're going to assume. So as they get in the car and they're driving away, of course the kid is having the asthma attack. Of course you have the problem, and like I said, the horror trope is not lost on me, but it's done to death. I like, come on guys, we can have one family with one healthy kid or two healthy kids. It's not a problem. It can happen. I've been around a bunch of different families. I've seen it. Come on, man. Just one time. So as they're escaping into New Jersey, they stumble upon a department store and they want to go in for supplies. Now, I can't stress this enough. In situations of mass violence, disaster, especially when there are creatures, zombies attacking, you do not split up your family. I don't care what reason. I don't care if you guys can carry more supplies separate. You go together and each one of you pick up supplies. But of course, as they go into the store, it becomes a normal shopping trip. She splits off with one kid, he splits off with the other kid, and like, we'll meet back here in the center. Wrong move. Always a wrong move. Don't ever do it. If the shit ever hits the fan, stick together. You have a better chance to survive and stick together. Second of all, I don't know why the whole family had to abandon the RV that they was in to go into the store. I'm thinking that was a one-person run. But I digress. So they go into the store. Brad Pitt is going to get the medicine for the son. And as they get to the pharmacy, you know, there's a druggie in there. He's stealing the stuff and he's got a shotgun. Because, of course, you knew he would, because it's not going to be that easy. You're going to have a bunch of people out there robbing, looting, and pillaging their beautiful little hearts out. So, of course, this happens, and Brad Pitt is shocked, and he tells the guy, I just need the inhaler for my child. Just need the inhaler for my child. Which is a direct parallel, because if you remember War of the Worlds, Tom Cruise, I just need to get my child. I need to just get my child. Just get my child out the back seat. Once again, here we go again. The daughter has anxiety issues. The other kid is an asshole. And you can hate me if you want, but kids are assholes too. Yes, it's true. And I'm talking about you, Robbie. You were an asshole. You were an asshole. Disaster movie asshole, Robbie, you are A, B, C, and D. And I'll even give you E, because you ran away from them so that you could join the military to help fight aliens. You couldn't fight your way out of a street fight with people, and you got your ass whooped. You couldn't even help your father, your baby sister, but you're gonna run up a hill with no weapon to fight aliens that are clearly overpowering everything and everyone. And the real horror fact of that is he lived. Never mind. Not this movie. World War Z. Okay, so as they're in there fighting, of course you hear the wife call for help. This is not going to be a blow by blow, so I'm not going to go all the way. The wife screams for help, so he hears this and runs off to help her. And of course people on the ground fighting with her, trying to take what she got. He pulls his gun up, and I guess he fires a warning shot. But in times like that, there's no warning shots. Shoot first, ask questions later. Period. You can hate it, you can deny it, but the person that hesitates, you lying in a grave. Pure and simple. So the second shot he gets off, he doesn't hit the guy, and the guy's firing back at him, and they're about 10-15 feet apart, and clearly they have all the artillery power of stormtroopers from Star Wars, because they can't hit each other at all. Until Brad Pitt goes for the third shot and he hits the guy. And then he runs over, lays the gun down to check on his wife and child. We never let the guns down. I said we never let the guns down, in case you didn't hear me. So he lays the gun down, helps the wife up and everything, and then he sees a cop running there, and the cop starts to run in the store, and he immediately puts his hands and his gun up in the air. And the cop kind of just looks at him as he runs by him, because first of all, you got to get your brain meats. You got to get your brain meats on point and on par. You got to get them gears flowing. You are in survival mode. This is not a normal mode. It is not a normal shopping trip. You have to get your brain in survival mode, or you're not going to make it. So the cop walks right by him, because the cop don't give a shit about him. The cop's trying to survive himself, which if he was thinking, he would have understood that. The cop didn't pull his gun out and say freeze. He didn't do anything. You weren't a threat to him. He's there for food and supplies. I would like to know his story. If they made another sequel or something like that, I would like to know his story. I would like to know how he fared during the zombie apocalypse. But they escape there, and somehow they're in I think Morristown, or there's some part of northern New Jersey, wherever they are, and they make it to a high-rise building, and they run up to the top because they want to signal his United Nations friends who said they would come in the morning. I like the fact that this movie gave him an avenue to have somebody to come and save him, but I would much more have liked it if it was from a realistic aspect of there was nobody coming to save you. Because in those situations, there 9 times out of 10 is nobody coming to save you. So I kind of hate that fact, because his survival mode would have been better for us to watch. It's like Greenland with Gerard Butler. The fact when he gets separated from his family and he has to become harder in order to survive and get back to them, it makes him a better survivalist for it and a stronger character for it. Brad Pitt didn't get that. It's just, we're going to wait for you guys. What if it crashed? What if it exploded? They said they lost the president in there. What if his friend died? What if it was affection on the ship? There were so many things, but you didn't have a backup plan. Your whole plan was, let's get to the roof and wait. What if they never come? What if help never comes? To quote a great movie, there was nothing to do but wait. Wait to live, wait to die, wait for an absolution that may never come. Titanic, by the way. I'm still pissed that you threw the heart of the ocean after he came and brought you on that ship and gave you all of that. You threw it in the water. Whew. Sorry. Anyway, back to World War Z. I'm gonna skip ahead because the family gets taken to a ship, a naval ship out in the ocean, and at first I'm like, this is great, because when it comes to zombie movies, we never see anybody think about that. It's always running here, running there, going here, going there, going here, going there, get to a tropical island, but I've never seen nobody just out at sea. Because let's think about it, if you're in a big enough ship with enough supplies and maybe water desalinization, you don't have to go back to shore. You can literally wait out the apocalypse, the zombie apocalypse. They're not going to come at you. They're not going to float by and climb up the ship. They're not going to swamp you. It's genius, actually. It's complete genius. I'm surprised we haven't seen more of it. But yet and still, in actuality, why that may be a best survival method, one of the best, they're not going to implement that in a movie because it kills their story. So once they're there, there's like, hey, yo, bro, you got to work for us. Your family's here. They can't stay here free. We got a lot of beds that other people could be using. So if you want your family to stay, you got to help us. You know what I'm saying? What you used to do back in the day, we need you to do that for us again. So he agrees. And then his wife is like, no, you're not doing it. And he's just like, well, if you don't, they're going to kick us off the ship. It is what it is. And the reason why I say it was such an infuriating choice is if I cared about Brad Pitt and his wife's chemistry, if their chemistry was better, I would care more about the movie, because she came off completely annoying and angry to me. First of all, bruh, if I give you a satellite phone and you know I'm back there in the world where zombies is running around, I don't give a damn if you safe and sound underneath the covers drinking a strawberry daiquiri. You don't call me, I call you. And of course, one of the first things is he lands at this place. He's trying to find information on patient one. He's helping a military doctor so that they can get a cure. Sorry, my eye's all jacked up. Got hair in it. They're trying to synthesize a cure with this military doctor. And the doctor dies. So it's left up to Brad Pitt to find patient number one and maybe a cure. So while he's at this place, he decides everything is bad. So his next step is going to have to be to Jerusalem for some reason. You go from Korea to Jerusalem because you got it like that. It's an apocalypse. Nobody has cars, but you got air. You got service air like that to go and do whatever you want to do. And that's what he's doing. So we get to the point where he makes it to Jerusalem after the doctor who's supposed to cure everybody dies. And Jerusalem has this gigantic wall, and they seem safe, and everything is just like all good. But of course, you know, wherever Brad Pitt goes in this movie, trouble follows. I mean, he is that black cat, and he does carry trouble with him. So he lands, he's talking to the guys, they're giving him information about this and that and the walls. And of course, there's thousands of people outside singing and playing radios and playing their guitars. And everybody knows these things go off sound, but yet and still, you know, we have our walls, we're fine. And the zombies hoard up like ants and make it over the wall. And of course, just because Brad Pitt is there, you know, all hell breaks loose. And now we have another in the space of 30 minutes when the shit hits the fan moments. And I like that you're giving them to me. Don't get me wrong. I love them. It's just the stupidness of people trying to survive. I mean, everybody here, they made it this far because they know about zombies, yet they don't know that sound is what causes them to stir up, which becomes an ultimate big problem. Anyway, like I said, I'm not going through the full movie. The whole movie goes through the story of Brad Pitt going from one place to another, and he keeps finding problems, and he finds out a cure that sickness and deathly ill people are like camouflage to these zombies. They can sense it, they go around it, they don't want nothing to do with it. Ipso facto, now we have camouflage. We just infect ourselves with some of the worst viruses in the world. You know, great idea. Great idea, Jag. No. So he affects himself and he figures out camouflage, and the movie comes down to it, and he finds out they kicked his wife off the ship, so they take him to where his wife is. He meets them, the people use camouflage. They take this, do that, and we're led into a point where there's going to be a sequel. But as of yet, for the the next 5 to 10 years, no, 12, 13, after that, there's been nothing. There's been absolutely nothing. No word, no movement on a sequel, nothing. Meanwhile, I Am Legend Part 2 is coming out, and don't even get me started on that. Don't get me started. So, World War Z, when it comes to zombie movies, I've definitely seen better, but I've definitely witnessed a lot worse. So, we're going to put it mid-tier. It's definitely not the lowest tier. It's definitely not the highest tier, but it is a good time to watch. It is watchable, and though some moments are laughable and maddening, it was a good movie, enjoyable. So we will give it a nickel. We're going to give this nickel. This is a nickel plating. This is something I would recommend watching, recommend seeing if you haven't seen it. If you're part of the zombie genre, you owe it to yourself to see it. It is what, what's that movie with Woody Harrelson and Jesse Eisenberg? Zombieland. It's what Zombieland would be if Zombieland was a serious movie. That's a better thought. It's Zombieland if Zombieland was a serious movie. It took itself serious. So here at 24K Films, movie reviews, game shows, and TV, we are getting ready to watch The Last of Us, but we had to get this World War Z thing out. Like it, buy it, own it on DVD, download it if you need to. I like the 4K version of it. It's a very crisp and strong movie. It's full. It could be better, I'm not gonna lie, but it could be worse too. It's got a lot of realistic things where I can see myself doing stuff in, and then it has a lot of stupid things that I can never see myself doing. But it is a good time, a roller coaster ride, and it does give you what you want out of a zombie movie. So we're going to give that a nickel. Thank you for joining me. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We got some more coming for you, and let me know whatever you want to see. Drop it in the comments. Let me know, and I'm playing whatever the hell you're saying. We will review it. And as always, like I said, straightforward, no sponsor, no cap, from me to you. You tell it like it is and lay it plain. Thank you. Check you guys out next time.